the hardest thing you will do, but the most important thing you have to do is tell somebody. You know, a problem shared is a problem halved. If I ended it tonight, would that take the pain away? And then over the 6-week holidays, 2 of the kids at the school took their own life. The shit days make you appreciate the good days, and the failures make you grow as a person and make you get better. Like, no one's life is like that. By doing those 2 things, you're probably 1% better than the rest of the world. Me and Liam had an argument about his addiction, and then I found him 10 minutes later and he hung himself. And I said, and the things that I said to him before he did that, will live with me for the rest of my life. I said, if we can hit 3 million this year, I'll be happy. From then we grow. And by the end of the year, we're probably doing 3.7.
Fucking min.
Someone said, oh, why are you doing it? I said, because if I can do this talk and it helps one person, then it makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it?
Morning fellas, welcome back to the Fine and Dandy podcast.
The podcast where 2 fellas catch up, sup up, and usually make a few beer ratings, but not today. We seem to be doing a few guests at the minute. If you haven't seen his last one, we'll put a link in the description, but we essentially interviewed a seasoned solo traveller who literally hours after finishing pressing record, straight on a one-way flight to Perth. So Ben, I hope you're well, buddy. I hope it's all well down under, but today
we're joined by a fabulous guy with a sick story. Tom's Talks, take your pick. Tom, tell people at home what the fuck you do.
So I'm Tom, so I do quite a few things. I started Tom's Talks, which is a motivational speaking business, back in 2019. I also have a school furniture business that my dad initially started in 1993. And then my brother and my sister, we took over in November. And then I've tried a few other ventures as well. I tried a clothing brand, Tommy's, which is not going as well as the others. And then started.
I expected the Tommy's merch getting brought, and I'm like, I don't find it very
well,
he's got legacy merch.
Yeah, this is Tommy's.
Is that Tommy's?
Yeah,
That's
well,
cool.
it's Tommy's Tom Talks, isn't it? Yeah, and then YouTube I started beginning of this year, I think. But YouTube is all like Tom's Talks related.
Yeah.
So yeah, quite a few things. Quite
Your
busy.
schedule is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, busy guy.
I'm going off my feet just doing podcasts like one time in 2 months, maybe.
Putting all into it.
So let's just start off. Like, we've got you here because you're an interesting man. As you said, you've got a lot of shit going on. So talk to me about Tom's Talks, firstly.
Yeah, so Tom's Talks I started, and unfortunately I lost my brother when I was 19. He died by suicide. He was struggling with depression and struggling with substance abuse, more so ketamine. So Liam was the kind of, so growing up there was me, I'm the youngest, Liam, Gemma and Alex, my mum and dad, and then my mum and dad remarried for the last 15 years. Yeah. But Liam was the kind of lad, you could put him on an island full of the nicest things, the nicest people, no violence, no crime, and he'd find some sort of crime. That kind of lad.
Yeah.
Loved him to bits. He was a really good, like, kind-hearted person, but he just always seemed to find himself, getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Like I always say, when an example, we used to watch like a gangster film, like Goodfellas or something like that, and we both watch it together. And he would get to the end of the film and think, that fucking meant I want to be a gangster. I want to live that life. And I'll get to the end of the film saying, that fucking meant he ended up dead. He ended up in prison. I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But that, unfortunately from that, Liam, like all the way through his lives, Liam would find himself getting in trouble. And then when it was like 12, 13, 14, more the later teens, Liam started going out in Barnsley, obviously where we're from, what that's like for a night out.
Yeah, fucking hell.
I started, experiment with different drugs like a lot of people do. Yeah. Came across ketamine, obviously liked doing it. But I think the biggest pivotal part of Liam's life was when he was 16, he had a really bad accident on a moped on a scooter. Okay. And it weren't his fault, so he got a large amount of money. Yeah, from the insurance. Yeah. It was about 50 grand he got.
Chuffy now.
So you got to think, right? So he got the money when he was 18. Prior to this, he was still a little shit, going out in Barnsley, causing havoc. Taking ketamine, whichever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then he's turned 18 and he's just got 50 grand.
That's insane, isn't it?
Yeah. So
what an age to get that kind of cash.
I think most people at 18 to get 50 grand, they're going to piss a bit of it up the wall.
Yeah. All of it would piss up.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Liam the majority of Liam's money went on Ket. Like me and my mum have obviously had conversations since he passed away, and we sort of like try and have a conversation like why did he want to take Ket every day? What was going wrong with him? And me and my mum sort of came to the conclusion, and this may be wrong, we don't know because obviously we can't ask him, but when he had his scooter accident, I think he had some sort of small demons before that.
Right.
But when he had the scooter accident, I think he got really bad brain damage. And he were in hospital for about 2 months in a coma for a while. Yeah,
oh, really?
Oh, yeah, fuck, man. Yeah, he couldn't. He should have died. The doctor said it's a miracle that he's not died.
Right.
Hence why he got so much money.
Yeah.
But I think from that then had a real backlash repercussion.
Obviously, that might put him into depression. And
Yeah, exactly. So I think that had a massive impact on his mental health.
Yeah.
But obviously, I don't know if you know anyone who's taken ketamine or if you've ever done it yourself, but when Liam I always used to say to Liam, why the fuck do you take it? You look like a zombie.
Yeah.
You don't look like you're having a good time, you just look absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
And he said, it's like an escape from reality.
Yeah.
And I said, but why do you want to escape from reality? At that time, we're talking like I was 17, 18, and he was 22. So now I look back and I understand why.
Yeah.
But at the time, I'm like, why do you want to escape reality? My dad's done really well for himself.
Yeah.
He took us on holiday all the time. Lived in a nice big house.
From the outside, a good
Got an amazing family. Got everything a lad at that age would want. Like, why do you need to escape reality?
Yeah.
And obviously, for some reason, he did. So he took the Ket every day to escape reality. Looked like a zombie. We then resented him.
Yeah.
Because he was like every day, mate, like in the house, every day taking it at work. Honestly, like the only time I think he really stopped taking it was when he got really, really bad. And he just said, I need to do something. And then he went to Australia for like 6 months, 7 months.
Yeah.
And I don't think he touched it once over there. I think he did a few other things. He did like MD and stuff like that. But he said he couldn't get hold of it, so he didn't do it. And he said he had the best time ever. And it's really sad. I remember me and my sister were on like a Zoom FaceTime, and he just burst out crying his eyes out. Like, I just miss you all so much.
Fucking hell.
And that's the only reason he came back, because he missed us. And like, obviously in hindsight, I think he could have stayed, he'd still be here.
Yeah.
So he came back, and then literally the same day he came back, he took it.
So obviously you knew, and your family and stuff knew that you were doing obviously Ket whilst obviously he was still alive, and they were doing it in house and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it got to a point where, like, because at 19 I was earning alright money, like not like ridiculous money, but I was earning more money than him. It was getting to a point where I was having to lend him thousands of pounds to pay off drug dealers. Drug dealers were turning up to the house, and my dad didn't know what to do.
No.
He was like, what is going on?
Who the fuck would know what to do?
Why are you turning up to my house? Like, first of all, who the fuck do you think you are? And second of all, stop selling drugs to my son. Yeah. But like,
they don't give a shit.
They don't give a fuck, do they? Yeah. Like, they just want to make money. So yeah, you look back now and you think, who in that position would have known what to do? Like, you wouldn't, would you? No, I look back now and I see it as a learning curve for myself. Like, when I have kids, I think my dad and my brother's relationship was probably not the best. One, because my dad resented my brother for doing it all the time, and two, because my brother probably resented my dad because my dad didn't know how to deal with it. Yeah, but I mean,
I think it's probably like two complete opposing worlds, isn't it? Like, they're not the typical ones that get caught up with drugs and all that. Like you say, why did he need to? What is that adding to his already? Not as a perfect life, but a very good life, isn't it? So
I see it as like there's not two different kinds of people. Like, I've got a lot of friends and know a lot of people that go on a night out, they'll take a bit of coke, they'll do a bit of Ket, and that's it. It's a weekend or every now and then thing. And I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not saying it's good for it, but it's a far cry different than someone doing it every single day.
Like a pure addiction.
Like a pure addiction. Like, it just makes you wonder, like, what was going on inside his head to actually want to do that every single day. And he got to a point where it was so bad he was in hospital all the time. Because his liver and his kidneys were fucked. They were ruined.
Fuck me.
And like, you think in your head, like, if you're in hospital because you're damaging your body that much, you'd stop taking it.
I think with addiction though, it's like, it gets to the point, maybe I don't actually know very well, so I probably shouldn't talk about it, but like, they don't actually care about that. It's just getting that drug and like, they'll do all to get to it.
But I think when people struggle, when someone is addicted to something, when you are addicted to something that bad, you take that thing because that initial dopamine hit that you get from it is that intense and that great. That's why you keep taking it.
Chasing it, aren't they? Chasing it first,
yeah.
like negative high.
Someone who's addicted to gambling.
Yeah.
When they win a bet, their dopamine spike goes through the roof. More so than a normal average person would.
Yeah.
So that's why it's continuous.
Feels so good, basically.
I think. But then obviously they then start to struggle with depression because the come down, the dopamine, like you go, obviously when something comes up, you've got to go down. It's that deep and that fucking instant.
Yeah.
That's when they start to struggle with depression. And then that's like you just said, you keep chasing it, then you're chasing it.
Do you think it gets to a point where it, obviously you said that you were taking it to escape like reality and all that. Do you think it got to a point where it probably transpired from doing it to escape reality to flat out addicted, and he's saying that to, do you know what I mean?
I think ketamine's not an addictive drug though.
Is it not?
No, it's not like cocaine is like super addictive because of the chemicals and stuff in it. Ketamine is not an addictive drug.
Well, if you went to Australia for 6 weeks and he was just fine and slept out, then it's evident,
exactly.
isn't it?
It's not like if you were addicted to ket, you stopped taking it, you won't get withdrawals and anything. It's not an addictive drug like heroin is.
Yeah.
Not like the actual. I'm not too clued up about science behind it, but the actual chemicals within inside it are not that addictive.
Yeah, I get you.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a weird. It's like really difficult to explain and describe, but that is my take on the whole.
Yeah.
Why you took it.
How does it affect the family situation? You don't have to answer that if it's like shit.
Oh, it were awful, man.
Yeah.
It were awful. More so, like, not trying to cry wolf, but like more so myself, because my brother and my sister are older. They had moved out.
Yeah.
And my dad, like I said, he has done really well for himself. He's never here.
Yeah.
When we were living at home, he was never here. It was always
So
on holiday.
kind of you two in the house.
Me and him in the house.
You dealing with it.
Me dealing with him.
Do you feel like it was your responsibility almost?
Well, it was his younger brother, but I felt like his older brother.
Yeah.
Looking after him and dealing with him. But then, like on the times when he wasn't doing it, we were like, best mates.
There's that
And that's made it
classic
like,
photo of you two in that bath, and it's like, that's like a sick photo.
Yeah. So it's sad because obviously, I say it in the talks. Liam, when he wasn't on ketamine, was the best person to be around.
Yeah.
It was the most fun. It was like the funniest person ever to be around. It was such a good laugh and such a good person deep down, and that's why it makes it even more sad because obviously you didn't get that experience of him all the time. So.
Yeah. Did it take? I don't know if you have like maybe found your peace with it. I don't know if that's the right word to use.
No, I have definitely, yeah.
And how long does it take you to go through that? And have you got to go through like shit? I mean, you've probably gone through shit periods of time yourself.
Yeah,
I've watched your like YouTube stuff and like you talk to your dad and that's a good video.
No, I've definitely found my peace with it. I'm very much at peace with it. My girlfriend is, when I got with my girlfriend, who I've been with her just over 2 years now, she was saying, why don't you go see a medium? Or why don't you go see a spiritualist? And I don't not believe in it. I think it's quite cool and interesting, to be honest, but I am at peace with it that much that if it, like for me, if I went and saw a medium and the only thing that, long story short, right, me and Liam had an argument about his addiction, and then I found him 10 minutes later and he hung himself.
Fucking hell.
And really? And the things that I said to him before he did that will live with me for the rest of my life. So if I saw a medium and the only thing, and if the only thing I would want to hear is my brother say, it wasn't your fault, don't worry about it.
Yeah, totally.
And if I didn't hear that, that'd just fuck me up even more.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean? So,
and
I'm at peace with the fact that if Liam had not done what he did, then I would probably not be sat here now. There's a snowball effect that happened after Liam dying that I think has brought a lot of good and a lot of positivity to the world. And the biggest thing for me that's happened since Liam dying is someone turning around to me and saying, you stopped me from taking my own life. So if Liam had not done that, then I might not have saved someone else, or someone else might not have said that. So that's why I'm at peace with it.
That person who came up to you and said that to you, was that through the Tom's talks that you were doing?
Yeah, there's been a couple of occasions, significant occasions, where one was a friend who was in my brother's year, a girl called Anna, and I'm sure she won't mind me talking about it. And she, dropped me a message just saying, if you didn't do what you did, then I won't be here. And then another time was when I was out in Leeds. I was pretty pissed, to be fair. I was outside in the smoking area a fag, I think. And this guy just came up to me and went, "You're Tom, aren't you?" And I went, "Aye, mate, yeah." And he went, "You don't know who I am. You don't know my story, but I just wanted to let you know that if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here now."
That's mad.
I suppose
I
that's
was all pissed off.
In Leeds as well. It's
I
like,
started crying. I was like,
Yeah.
fucking hell, like, yeah, proper.
in a way, does that feel good a little bit?
Yeah, God,
Yeah.
of course it does. It makes, sometimes, and I'll be honest with you, sometimes I'll put YouTube videos on, I'll put videos on Instagram, and I'll just think, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, does anyone actually really care? Like, is this helping anybody?
Yeah.
You know, like, you doubt yourself, like
Yeah.
we always do. But it's when people say stuff like that.
It's all fucking. If you
Yeah, it
say
makes it-
one person essentially.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it all worth it. Yeah, it's the best feeling in the world. That's why when I started doing the talks, I said, someone said, "Oh, why are you doing it?" I said, "Because if I can do this talk and it helps one person, then it makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it?"
And you do it to schools, don't you?
I've done it from like year 5 and 6 in primary schools to all the way up to year 13, and then done it to different businesses.
Yeah.
So.
do you get like different kind of responses? Like if you're talking to, what do you say, year 9, so they're like 14, aren't they?
Yeah, it's obviously the maturity level of an individual will make a massive difference on how they respond to it.
Yeah.
Like it was so fun. I did a talk to a school in Castleford, a primary school, and it was really fun because the kids that age, you know, when we were at primary school,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
shit, did we?
No.
And like these
Scared about wrestling and that.
yeah, I'm gonna stay on the way out. I'm thinking about when we used to.
If we can bounce on trampoline,
Yeah.
that absolute mental.
Yeah.
All intros.
Yeah, that was the best time ever. But these kids just didn't give a shit, and they were just asking me question after question. And in my head, I was thinking for a 8, 9, 10-year-old, these are just like unbelievable questions, and they were all really polite, and it was so much fun. And then compare that to sometimes I do it to like year 10 and 11. Sometimes I think, oh God, this ain't gone really well.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they really don't seem interested. At the time,
Yeah.
like, you know, it's like when you're in year 10 or 11, you want to look cool.
Yeah, but they will say they're in like, I don't want to show.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I'm not
I-
asked about this kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. But then the response after, because I say at the end of my talks, I say, you know, obviously mental health is a really personal, sensitive subject. If you want to stay behind one-on-one, I'll stay behind as long as you need. And that one of the last talks I did to an all-girls secondary school in Sheffield. I had about 10 people come up to
Wow.
me.
No.
I was there for about an hour and a half after my
Okay.
talk, just talking to people. And it's like, obviously, for them it probably resonates more. It's just while I'm doing my talk, you think, oh God.
Yeah.
You know, when you say a few things, and I say a few one-liners that I think are really funny.
Absolute bankers.
Yeah, then they just all laugh like, oh, fuck it up.
To be fair though, I mean, getting up in front of a fucking school and doing a like talk and it's fucking. I'd shit myself.
Oh, I
the
love
first
it.
one you did. Oh, you did.
I love
straight
it,
up.
yeah.
Straight from get-go, it just like,
I suppose
Yeah.
you got a sales background and what have you.
Well, yeah, I've grown up presenting in front of people and speaking to
Yeah.
people since I was 18, 19, so yeah, I love it. I say it's the best feeling ever. When you've
Yeah.
done a talk and you've presented and like you feel like you've smashed it, there's like no better feeling than that. It's been,
So, go on, sorry Dan.
I was about to say, obviously, I'm just going off because you said schools. I remember having people come to school. I mean, you two went to the same primary school, but I don't think I ever had someone come and talk about mental health. I was like pantomimes and shit.
yeah.
But I suppose times have changed, and I think probably the main thing is, and we'd have got onto it anyway, but like social media and that. Do you think that this, like, I don't know, do you think that, I'm going to say a blanket statement, you could argue that mental health didn't exist back when we were like,
Yeah, I think
is
it's
that a
just
fair thing to say?
so
But it's been
I think
unearthed, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been yeah, I think that's the best way of putting it. Unearthed more so in the last 10 years. I think it's always been a thing, but again, I was having a conversation with someone over there. I genuinely believe if social media were a thing, mental health would be
100%.
reduced, or mental ill health would be
Yeah.
reduced drastically. And I say the reason for that is, right, you know how addicted we all are to our phones and to social
You
media.
don't want to look at my screen time.
I put a cap on my screen time.
Have you?
Yeah, I put like 40-minute cap on Instagram. Because not just for my own sanity, like
I need to do that, I swear to God.
it drives me insane. Like more sort of weekend through the week, I don't get time to go on social media.
Yeah.
But at the weekend, obviously, chilling out and stuff. I start to feel really shit after I've been on my phone too long.
So do I, man.
And I think I've watched your videos, I think you've said it before, it's all about that highlight reel, isn't it?
Fucking hell, yeah. It's like, I think that the real reason why is because a human being needs a real connection with another human being.
Yeah.
That's one of the main things to make sure you live a good life. Having a proper connection with a human being and loving somebody and feeling close to somebody, having conversations like we're having now.
Yeah.
But I think the generation that we've got now and the generations coming through, I feel like they're that addicted to an online reality that isn't real. They then struggle to have a connection in the real world.
That's very true.
They're neglecting the physical self, aren't they?
And that's why they're then in the real world that's actually real.
Yeah.
They're fucked up because they can't comprehend what's actually going on in the real world because everything's online. And the other thing, like we've just said, is this comparison, highlight reel bullshit. Like, you're going on your phone, you're then losing that connection from the real world, which is affecting your mental health. But then you're going online, and like we said, everyone posts this highlight reel, and also, like, not just that everyone posts the good times, but like, you can get a fake Rolex.
Oh yeah.
You can get a fake anything that without knowing you wouldn't know it's fake.
You can sell anybody a dream on your Instagram page.
Yeah, you can go on, like, you can fucking go on Google the Maldives, fucking
yeah.
screenshot the photo, put it on your story, tag someone in it, make it out like that. And so unfortunately, that's the reality. Some people do that.
Yeah,
they're that unhappy in their own reality that they want other people to believe that they're happy in some unreal reality.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, is one of the core reasons why a lot of people are struggling with mental health.
I totally agree.
It's got to take a strong mindset, because I'd say I'm lucky. I'm pretty confident to say that it don't really affect me. And I think we've just got past. We grew up wearing Instagram, like, we were a thing at like school, and I think I'm school year below you, but like, it weren't really that serious at all. And I think that since, so I'd say it's only like 4 or 5 years tops, that's what it's been like, mad, hasn't it? So I think it's got.
It's aligned with how much social media has changed and how much social media has become part of everyone's lives.
Well, imagine it's not just Instagram now. I'd imagine that that's not the cool thing. It is TikTok, innit? And that's like even deep. So like Instagram's photo, just
fuck me, honestly.
Well, I've deleted it now.
I deleted it and I got it back.
I deleted it and I had to get it back.
But I'll be honest, the only reason I got it back, someone said, these videos you post on Instagram, some starts, you should post them on TikTok.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah. That's why I got it back, but I did delete it because fucking hell, this app is addictive.
I suppose social media for you is like a blessing and a curse, isn't it?
It is. Social media is amazing in so many ways, but then in so many other ways, it's awful. It's ruining people's lives.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you can, like, for example, I don't know if you saw that video. Do you know where it was the promo video for My Reason Why, and I was crying on the video?
I haven't seen that one, no.
So that video, I put it on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I got 105,000 views in 24 hours.
Fucking hell. Just pops off, doesn't it, for no reason?
Yeah. But like, obviously the message in that, I said, like, if you ever feel like giving up, don't, life's always worth living. If you don't have a reason to stick around, your friends and family will give you $1 million. That was the core message of that video. And that reached 105,000 people.
That's fucking mental.
So in that sense, Instagram is social media is amazing. But then in the other sense, it's not.
Going back to gambling though, you said you get 105,000 in 24 hours. Did you get that dopamine rush of, fucking hell, that's right. Do you know what I mean? All this thing that we said about gambling and all that.
No, they do. Gets 20,000, like, oh.
It's a true real, like, and this is another thing why social media is addictive. People get addicted to getting likes because when you get so many likes or so many views, it gives you a dopamine hit.
We got like 10,000 views on one thing.
On a reel of an hour. I didn't sleep, I was just like...
It does, it gives you...
refreshing it.
It gives you that dopamine hit.
And there's actually no feeling like it though, is
there? Yeah. But then there's the other side of it when you might put another photo.
And it goes tits up,
you're like, fuck's sake. Like I said, like there's a lot of times I'll post on Instagram because I'm really trying to grow my social channel to obviously reach more people, talk to more people. And I'll post a lot of videos and a lot of reels and stuff and they'll get no views. And I'm just like, what's the point? Yeah. Why am I doing it?
Are you putting all this fucking graft into
it? Yeah.
I suppose you're doing it for a really good reason. Like when me and Dan are doing it, like, no one's listening to that shit joke. It's demoralising.
But it's like swings and roundabouts, you have that one good post and you feel mint and you do the other one.
It's what keeps you ticking, innit? We're still living off that one SeaWorld reel from 3 months ago, innit?
Actually, right, let's go onto your YouTube a little bit.
Yeah.
And it maybe brings me. We'll probably go back to Liam in a shot, but sure. Maybe onto you a little bit. You are the guest. So your conversation with your dad, I think it's in Liam's garden, is it called?
Yeah, Liam's bench.
Bench.
My dad built probably about 3 or 4 years ago. Where my dad lives in Oxford, it's really like rural countryside, loads of hills.
Yeah.
And the back of his house is a massive like field where we sledged and all that sort of stuff when we were younger. And it's at the top of there. he's done a cracking job. It's really nice.
It looks mint.
Yeah, he's done a great job.
So you went there and had I think I was telling Dad about it because I watched the video and I was like, you were having. I don't want to steal your story, but what I got from it, you were doing you were having a tough time. You were doing like a important client sell or something like that, maybe like an expo or something. Yeah. And you just fucking, it all got a bit too much for you, burst into tears. Your dad seemed like you were really there for you, popped you into the car, took you there, and you had like a life-saving chat essentially.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Exactly. Yeah. So from when Liam passed away, obviously, what happened was, I saw what I saw, and it lives with me to this day. Like, it's horrible, and I wish I could unsee what I saw. But when that initially happened, I saw the devastation that it caused to my whole family. Yeah. And I was like, right, I'm going to be the strong one of this family. I'm going to be the man. I'm going to be the one that's going to look after my family. And I just sort of brushed everything to the side.
Did deal with it.
Made myself as busy as I possibly could. I didn't deal with it. And I did grieve, but not maybe as much as I should have done. And then fast forward 2 years later, it then like severely comes back to bite me in the ass.
You just delayed it.
Yeah, pretty much, and it just not just Liam, like coming up to the second anniversary of his passing. A few relationships in my life weren't great, and you know how much of an impact that has on your mental health. Yeah. And there was that, and just like it was like a bit of a snowball effect, and it was obviously the time of the year, and it just really put me in a bad place. Like, you've known me for years. I'm always quite a happy, confident person.
Yeah, definitely.
And at this point in my life, it just wasn't me. And because I still live with my dad, he was the one who noticed, and he was like, "What's wrong? You don't see himself. Yeah. What's up with you? Blah, 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 blah." And you know, as people do when you struggle with depression, I just like brushed it away. I was like, "Nothing. I'm fine. Leave me alone." And then this event was for me essentially. So the family business that we've got. At this point, I was a rep for the company and I was in charge of selling. Yeah. So this particular event was, it was for me to sell as much as I could to as many people and really make a good example of the company.
Big fucking deal.
Big deal, yeah. And obviously, probably looking back now, the mindset that I was in, I wasn't myself. I just didn't perform and it just went shit. Yeah. And I was like almost crying at the fact of how shit the day went. And my dad looked at me and he was like, "What is wrong here?" And my dad's quite an old-fashioned guy, he never swears. Basically pulled me to one side and went, "What the fuck's wrong here?"
Fucking hell.
And I just literally burst out crying. Yeah. I was just like, "Dad, I don't know. I just feel really down. I don't feel myself." So my dad was like, "Right, come on, we're going." So my dad put me in the back of the car, we went straight home, we went up to Liam's bench and he just went, "Right, tell me what's up." And then I just saw that, and then from that point, then I just offloaded. You know, there was like a relationship with a girl, there was a relationship with my stepmom, there was Liam, there was like a few different like sort of significant reasons why, and there was that. So then I was just like offloading, and then I just got it all off my chest, and you know, not like straight away in that instant, but eventually from that point I started to really get better mentally and just get back to Tom, really.
And is that when Tom's talks? So what Tom's talks after this? The start?
Yeah, so Tom's talks was, I think that was the October of 2018 or 17, 18. Tom's talks, basically how Tom's talks came about was, I was in a school in Sheffield, like dealing with a client for furniture. It was the sixth form area that we were refurbishing, and so I was dealing with the head of sixth form. She was choosing the furniture. She's called Bex. I'm seeing her on Monday actually.
Bex.
She's a lovely woman. And I got on with her that well. I just felt like I could open up to her, and I just talked about Liam and what had happened, and I was saying that obviously with my experiences, I feel like I really want to help other people. And it's really, really, really sad. That was in the June. I think that was the June of 2018. And then over the 6-week holidays, 2 of the kids of the school took their own life.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
So her school?
Her school, Jesus. Yeah. So she rang me, or I can't remember, she rang me, texted me or whatever. She told me what had happened. Yeah. She was like, "I think you really need to talk to the kids." I was like, 100%. So then we sat down, went through my story, like various other things of like what is it now included in it, so probably over a couple of 3 or 4 times, and then came up with now
the final piece.
What is Tom's Talks?
Yeah.
And then delivered the first talk in January 2019. And obviously, as you do, took photos, posted it on Instagram, so I'm really proud of doing this.
Yeah.
From there, it just blew up.
I think it's needed, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think there's, like you said before, there were no talk about mental health or anything.
Magicians and that and yo-yos, wasn't it?
Yeah, they didn't give a shit, did they? Well, maybe they did, but like they didn't.
I think it's just because it's so more, it's a lot more talked about now. It's always obviously being a thing, but I think, like we said, with social media and many of the reasons, it's obviously a lot worse now than it was, I would say, 10, 15 years ago.
100%.
So you said that Beck sort of obviously said, look, there's been a couple of suicides here. I think you need to talk to him. Do you think if it weren't for her giving you that push, we're like, so are we doing it not against your will, but we're like,
no, I wanted to do it. I was fucking ready.
But you needed that spark from her to go.
Yeah, it was
you can make a difference.
Well, actually, I had talked about doing it before. Yeah. Lloyd, my best mate, me and him got pretty fucked up at mine one night, and we were both just chatting absolute shit. And they were like, "Do you know what you should do? You should you should talk to people about your experiences." And that was where it first initially came out, like the idea of doing it.
Well, the initial idea, maybe do it on YouTube, because I feel like that's the way in modern day where you can just reach as many people as you can.
Yeah.
Like, I think obviously you've got that link with school, so that's quite good, and it's good to reach younger people as well, obviously.
Yeah.
I reckon we did that with first idea, like let's fucking get a YouTube thing going.
Well, no. So initially it was just literally doing it to schools. Obviously, then I I'd done the initial talk, and then I put it on Instagram, social media, whatever, and then various people I knew that were teachers were like, "Oh wow, yeah, come talk to our kids." It wasn't only till this year, so 2022, where my mind works like I'm just like a million miles an hour all the time.
Yeah.
Just always thinking of different things I can do. And I saw obviously YouTube is this platform that people were doing really well on. And like looking at how many views people
must
get.
have missed that.
Didn't take no inspiration from us.
You're doing a good job, guys. And I thought, right, let's do it. And then we spoke before the podcast about Dan, who was the videographer I worked with, who was incredible. And I just went, right. So, no, sorry. First of all, I thought I need to grow my social channel.
Yeah.
And I thought to do that, I need to get some good content, so some reels and whatnot. So he came down and filmed a day with me at Outwood Hemsworth, which is not far from here. And the videos that he did, I was like, wow, like he's amazing at this.
They do look really good.
And then, like, obviously, like you said, did you do it straight away? The YouTube, like, there was a few people who was like, you need to do it, and then took that leap and then did it, and then so far it's gone all right. So yeah, the YouTube channel was only really this year, but it's I find it really hard because you need it's like posting on Instagram. It's like your social challenge. You need to be very consistent with it.
100%.
And like both like Instagram and YouTube, the thing I find the hardest is staying consistent with it. With the family business, it keeps me so busy through the week. I get to like 8-9 o'clock and I'm like, fuck, I forgot to post. Fuck, I've not done like content idea for YouTube.
It's hard to keep all them plates spinning, isn't it?
Yeah.
It motivates them when you've been that drained from.
I do think like it. You see, when I've got this place and I've got like certain things that I do as well. I'm just trying to maintain personal relationships and friendships, and it's like I've got this vision in my mind of where I want to be and what I want to be doing. It's proper demotivating when I'm not hitting the targets personally for myself. Yeah,
what I found that I need to do. My girlfriend is a social media manager for Hallmark, so she out all that sort of stuff. And she said that, and you might take inspiration from this. She said you need to spend a day where that day is dedicated to content, and then schedule all your content.
Treat it like a fucking job, basically. That's what you need to do, innit?
Basically, but then I thought, well, it's like going back to saying to you guys, you need to subcontract this editing part out because it's so time consuming, especially if you don't really know what you're doing.
If you're cheap, get in touch.
and then that time you spend doing that, you can do something else that's either going to be more lucrative or be more productive. And that's what my next thing is now. I'm either going to subcontract all my social stuff out and basically give it to a social media company and say, right, I'll give you this much a month, do it for me. Because I just keep forgetting
that's actually what we need to do, because it's just so fucking hard.
And this, like, you've got to think, right, it's like a company, a business, right? you've got someone at the top, the CEO, the managing director, and you've got everyone underneath him. That managing director is not going to be very good at marketing. He's not going to be very good at logistics and delivery. So what do? You don't do it all yourself because you've got time. You give it to someone who's really good at doing it. A CEO or a managing director is probably not that good at loads of things.
Yeah.
He's probably either been a salesman that's gone to an MD and he's really good at selling, he's probably good with people. But he's not brilliant at every other aspect of a company. So then you channel it down. You give that responsibility to people that thrive and are amazing at their jobs. And that's why companies like, your big S&P 500 companies do so well, because they employ people that are really good at that individual
Instead
part.
of doing like a half-assed job themselves, kind of thing.
And that's where you scale a company. You employ people that are far better at that aspect of the company than you, rather than trying to keep it all to yourself and doing a shit job or a half-hearted job. Mm-hmm. That's how you do it. So that's what I need to do.
That's what I need to do as well.
I just told myself.
Somebody clip that and send it me, because it's right all down and fucking
We're
do
looking
it.
for 2 new podcast hosts to replace us.
Yeah.
But I think pride comes into it a bit though. I think
Yeah.
it's hard to go, not say your baby, but do you know what I mean? It's hard to go and give that responsibility to someone else. And also, I think we've said that, why don't we get an editor on that? And I feel a lot of pressure because I can do it, but there's a time I've got my actual job. But we've said that we should feel like we should be doing it because we're not right big. Do you know what I mean? So do you think you should also put that aside and be like, invest some?
You've got to start somewhere. I don't mean. So what you're doing now, you're asking really good questions. I think the idea of a good podcast is asking the right open-ended questions that gets the conversation flowing, which you are doing. You're doing a brilliant job of that. But then,
what a great guy.
No, seriously, how do you spend more time doing that?
Yeah.
You subcontract all the other shit that you don't want to do out to someone who's really good at it.
Yeah.
That frees up your time to do more podcasts with people and ask these questions that you're asking. That's how you do it.
I agree.
I'll take 50% cut.
Because you're nothing, you've been skinned. What is your personal dealings with depression? Because I don't know if you did, I can't remember, you said something along the lines of you were dealing with your depression.
Yeah, so when I was depressed, I did not think I was depressed, which probably made it a lot worse. I just thought I was just feeling a bit shit. And I probably at that point didn't really truly understand what depression was.
I don't think a lot of people do.
No.
I'm not sure I do, to be honest.
No, they don't, and I think that, again, that's half the problem. And at that time, for one, I probably didn't understand it. 2, I couldn't admit to myself that I was. And 3, I just couldn't focus on anything else other than I just felt shit, but I couldn't understand what it was. It was only till maybe a year later, and I thought back and I was like, fuck, when I know how I feel now, I feel great, and I know how I felt then, I felt absolutely awful. And it was for a prolonged period of time. There's a saying, and I don't know the exact saying, I don't know exact statistics, but obviously depression is an accumulation of shit day after shit day after shit day. If you have one shit day in a week, you're not depressed. It's when you have shit day after shit day after shit day, you're feeling crap over a prolonged period of time. That's depression.
Yeah. And
I think this is another part of why we're having this epidemic of depression, because a lot of people have a couple of bad days in the year and they think, I'm fucking depressed.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You just had a bad day. And you need to distinguish what is depression and what is not. But then that was me, I'm not fucking depressed. I'm fine. I'm like, why do I feel like this? But then obviously, like I said, I look back a year later, I had a month where I felt shit.
That's a fucking long time to feel shit for.
Yeah. And there was one night, I didn't plan on to take my life, but there was one night where I got really fucked at the bridge in Penistone. Yeah. And I walked home that night, and obviously the alcohol didn't help. And that whole night I was just like, if I ended it tonight, would that take the pain away? Would I feel, would that be it? Would I stop feeling as shit as I felt? And literally the only reason why I didn't do it is, and it sounds, I always say it in talks every time, and I always feel like I must sound like a fucking nutcase when I say this. The only reason that stopped me doing it was that I had a voice in my head that said, don't you dare do what you're thinking about doing. If you do that, then your family's going to have to go everything again like they did with him.
True.
And there's a saying that when you take your own life, the pain doesn't go away, it just gets passed on to the other ones. So I was really drunk and everything else, but I got home that night and I eventually sobered up, and I was just like, wow.
Thank God.
Thank God I didn't do it, but wow, I am fucked.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, like I am not.
What's like the first step? Do you just talk to friends and family, or do you maybe talk to somebody like professional?
Well, obviously for me, luckily enough, and like I say every day, I'm so lucky and grateful for my family and my dad, you know, my mum and girlfriend, because I have an incredible support network around me. And obviously, luckily at the time, I had my dad, and my dad, being my dad, just constantly asking me, "You all right? What's up?" And thankfully, you know, he brought me down to the point where I did open up to him. But yeah, I always say, like, and the biggest message in my talks is, if you are struggling and you are, you know, you're not in the best place and you struggle with depression, the hardest thing you will do, but the most important thing you have to do is tell somebody. You know, a problem shared is a problem halved.
So Tom, what are some telltale signs then that maybe I'm not gonna say you're an expert in it now, but obviously you've surrounded yourself and you've made a positive change and you're a lot more, you know, you're educating us at the minute. If you were to look at some mates, and I suppose the question is, have you seen signs in mates? Like, you obviously didn't know you were depressed, so what are some I know they're different to everyone, but essentially what are some telltale signs that shit, he's depressed, or shit, I'm depressed? Do you know what I mean?
So it's an interesting question, that, because again, talk about Liam. I obviously knew Liam was struggling with addiction, but I didn't know he was struggling with his mental health. Now I know they're one and the same. But put aside his addiction, Liam, off ketamine, normal, was the happiest person you'd ever see, smiling, joking, having a good time. But in reality, he was really, really depressed. So sometimes I feel like people need to understand that the happiest person in the room, the one laughing and joking and smiling, could be potentially really, really struggling.
Like behind closed doors.
And they put on this mask and they put on this bravado to stop people from believing that they are depressed. Because the worst feeling in the world is actually admitting to yourself that you're depressed. So you don't want anyone else to know. So I would say, you know, in your friends and your family, that person that is probably all the time joking and laughing and smiling, if he's doing it even more so.
Right. Maybe that's putting up like a mask, like
it's putting up that guard of, don't ask me if I'm doing shit.
I've read, I ain't had many dealings with it, but I have read that people said that obviously you know, it can be the happiest people, but did you ever find yourself like you don't want to get out of bed? I've read people stop brushing their teeth, stop washing. Do you know what I mean? Like they go down that route. Is that something that you've
my personal
noticed?
Experiences, I didn't have anything like that. I just constantly cried. I was just crying all the time. I just constantly getting upset.
Would you try and hide that as well?
Yeah. I'm quite an emotional person anyway. Like I cry at anything. I am. I'm not gonna cry. I would have fucking punched off.
No spoilers.
No, I am quite an emotional person anyway. But at that point in time, I was just getting really upset and crying like over like stupid little things.
Yeah.
Like, I'll cry. Like I'm an emotional guy. I can openly cry about things like a sad film or even when I'm my dad and eventually cry about it. Was sad film.
I haven't seen it.
Just about to watch that when I get in.
Let's delete that part. Like I said, but at this point anything was making me really upset and I was just feeling really, really
maybe
low.
Like on the edge at all times of just fucking being like
I was really easily disappointed. Like if a friend was like, "Oh, sorry, I can't do something today," I'd just get really, really upset. Probably because I really needed that friend, or you know, like just stuff like that. But yeah, there are people, that go through stages of not doing certain things that they normally would do, or they get like compulsive, what's the OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder over certain things. Like there is those.
And that's maybe a telltale sign of like someone struggling a little bit. Yeah,
definitely. Or if someone really, I think a massive telltale sign of someone struggling is if they completely seclude themselves from everybody. Right. Do you know, if you've got that friend who you've not spoke to for a while, you just think like, where the fuck's he gone? Like, he's just blown off the radar. They've obviously took themselves out of a situation because again they don't want you to ask and see how they're doing because again they don't want you to know. That I've had a few times where I've not heard of someone for a while, or I've thought or if they stop posting on social media. There's two ways. It's when someone completely falls off the grid, doesn't post on social media, that's a big telltale sign. Or when someone is posting to the high heavens on social media and they're not doing it for business persons, they're looking for extreme external validation.
Somebody fucking talks to me or somebody likes his fucking
Yeah,
photo.
yeah.
Please.
Someone like his photo to make me feel good because I feel fucking wank. Those are two massive ends of the spectrum. You've got one person who's looking for extreme external validation on social media because they feel awful, they feel they need it to make them feel good. And then the other side, when someone just completely falls off the grid and doesn't post, and you think to yourself, oh, I've not seen him post for a while, I wonder what he's doing. But I've had it in the past where I've noticed that, and I've like sent him a text, I'll message him saying, is everything alright? I've noticed you've not really been about. And then they're like, oh, thanks for asking that. So I'm really struggling.
You know what's interesting? Like, I was going to ask you this, so I'm glad you inadvertently did it. You probably because it's all your mates are blokes, but you kept saying he a lot.
Yeah.
Would you say there's a bigger issue with male suicide than there is with
suicide is the biggest killer in men under 45.
Really?
Yeah. Even to this day, it's the biggest killer in men under 45.
Fucking hell.
And again, these topics, I could go into so much detail because I've had these conversations with so many different people so many times. And I think with men, it goes back to like the historic ages.
Men, the provider.
Men are the providers. Men are the people that bring the money in, look after the family.
A lot of responsibility.
And they're essentially looking after the tribe, looking after the family.
Seen as a weakness, isn't it?
Historic. So if, as a provider, as a man, if you turn around and say, I can't go to work today because I'm struggling with mental health, you're gonna go, what the fuck?
There is still that stigma in modern day where it's like, if somebody phoned into work because of their mental health, they might get slagged off, and fucking hell, just come in. You know what I mean? Yeah,
it's it goes back to that sort of like thing that people say. Mental health's not real. You just having a bad day, brush it off, you'll be alright. Like mental ill health is a real thing.
There's that thing where someone says like, if your arm were falling off, you go and see a doctor, but you wouldn't ignore it or something.
Yeah. So if you're struggling with mental health, why would you not go to a doctor?
Why
it's the exact same thing. Your physical and mental health both go hand in hand. One is nothing without the other.
And I suppose, can you improve your physical mental health? Obviously, I don't go to the gym as you can see, but like going to the gym and like, again, you see going back to this plate spinning that we were talking about before. Like, I find it hard to exercise because I've got it's probably an excuse really, but I've got so much going on that I feel like that 45 minutes that maybe I could have gone to the gym, I kind of need to be developing this menu.
I look at it though, right? My favourite time that I love going to the gym, one because you feel it makes you look better, you get a self-esteem booster, you feel good, but more importantly, the main reason I go to the gym is because it makes me feel like mentally, I feel amazing after I've had a gym session. Like the endorphins are pumping. So my favourite, you said that you feel like you could be doing something else more productive.
Yeah.
Think about it this way, right? I wake up about 6 o'clock most days and I'm on it straight away. I get to about 12 o'clock and I start to have a bit of brain fog. Not severely, but I'm thinking I need to have a little bit of a break. My favourite time of the day is to train around lunchtime. I've had a couple of meals in there, a few carbs. I get to the gym, smash a workout, and then I'm buzzing for the rest of the day. It re-energises me for the rest of the day.
It's like a coffee for you, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have that endorphin, like pumped session, and some of my best ideas come from when I'm in the gym. Like I've just finished a set, and I'm like thinking all sorts of crazy shit.
You're like fucking schools.
Yeah, I'm like pens. No, honestly, I'm not even kidding. Like some of my best ideas come either straight after or when I'm.
I suppose that's maybe when you see most clear because your head's like right.
You don't need to be in an office looking at a screen or on a fucking notepad to think of good things. Like the best ideas come from the most bizarre places.
Yeah, that's good advice.
It's getting it back into your routine, isn't it? Because you have been to the gym. I've been to the gym for a long time, and you know it's there, but it's hard to give yourself that time. Because
routine is so important for your mental health.
I totally agree. I've got OCD. Probably I'm probably overreacting, but like, and I've got some.
You might have a small case.
Like, timings wise, for example, like if I do some deliveries or whatever here, and I'm like it's 12:02 and you should have been there at 12. I'm like that's the worst possible thing that could ever happen. I'll lose my shit completely. Like I like my day to be so structured.
Yeah. That could be, to be fair, mate, that could be a slight variant of OCD.
Honestly, that'll take me off the edge.
Yeah, but routine, it's been something that I've really been focusing on this year. Again, going back to your phone, going back to social media, like I historically sleep shit.
Yeah.
I think subconsciously because of what happened to Liam, And I don't know, but other things. One, because I fucking piss like a 90-year-old man. I've got the weakest bladder ever. Like, I get up about 4 times a night for a piss. But like now, like my nighttime and my morning routine are so important because without it, I feel like I'm not the same person through the day. Like my nighttime routine now is that I put my do not disturb on my phone. It's probably 9, half 9, and then I'll just talk to my girlfriend or I'll read or something.
Having that actual connection.
Having that connection, but then just like winding down.
Yeah.
And then your body's resting, then it's falling naturally asleep. Because when you look at your phone has, so they call it, so this light here is a blue light. It's called blue light. And that, when you're looking at it, it's stimulating your brain in so many different ways. So your brain's stimulated, it doesn't want to go to sleep.
Really?
It's not natural that a caveman wouldn't have like an iPhone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So your brain's...
I literally sleep. I can't sleep without some like sound on stimulating my brain. I don't know.
Yeah, but your phone, I know what you mean, but the blue light on your phone is different. And like I said, it stimulates your brain away but one, it doesn't want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, it goes back to this comparison thing on Instagram. The last thing you see is fucking Jeremy living his life in Barbados.
Yeah.
You're going to go to sleep thinking, why the fuck am I not doing that?
Dreaming Barbados.
And then I suppose you're waking up early doors in the morning, going to your shit life in your eyes at that point. And, like,
and then it transfers to the morning then. You've had a shit night sleep, you've woke up, you don't feel great.
Jeremy's still in Barbados and I'm fucking...
Like a few minutes tonight, try it.
Yeah, well...
I will try it, but I'm going to say from my point of view. So you've said you're a bastard with time, and I am, to be fair, but I don't think to your extent. My thing is, I fall asleep with my phone there and make sure it's on charge, but I don't want to go to sleep because I feel like I'm taking away time from tomorrow. It's called like there's actually.
Do you know how important sleep is? I've done a lot of reading on it. Sleep is the most important thing in your day. If you have a shit night's sleep, you know how bad you feel the next day.
Is there like 7 hours?
I don't know. I think everyone's different.
Yeah.
I think it honestly depends on the person. Some days I'll sleep I'll sleep a good 9 hours and I'll feel worse than I did.
Son of a bitch.
I'll feel worse than the day before when I've had 7 hours broken sleep. It's really, really weird, but your sleep is so important.
I do need to work on that. That is that.
Really, honestly, like I used to be the same. Like obviously, being quite entrepreneurial and the way that I am, I'm like trying to do everything at once and stuff like that. And I used to think like I don't need to sleep. Sleep doesn't mean who the fuck needs sleep?
Yeah.
But then I've really prioritised sleep this year, and like for example, business wise, it's just gone one way.
Maybe because you're more like you got more energy and shit. You're more like focused.
Well, you not only physically, but when you sleep properly, your brain has time to repair and recoup, and it starts to. Again, I don't know the full science behind it. I'm not going to pretend that I do, but I just know that when from what I've researched and stuff like that, your brain needs time to recover. Yeah. Your brain cannot stay awake constantly. No. And that when you sleep and you have a good night's sleep, it just does absolute wonders.
So, I'm going to humour you. That's happening to me today.
Go on,
sorry. So it sounds like you've nailed night routine. We've got some tips for that. But like you say, it carries on into the next day. So what's your morning routine? Because as soon as alarm goes off, Twitter.
So morning routine, you might not believe this, I don't have an alarm.
Fuck off.
I swear to God, I wake up without an alarm. And I've done that every day this year.
Jeez.
Wake up without an alarm. Now, again, humour me, right? And again, this goes back to self-development, reading and stuff like that. I read Diary of the CEO.
Don't even talk to me about that.
Right.
I fucking love
the
it.
guy,
about it.
Yeah, so he had a doctor on the other day. The doctor was explaining it, and it just made so much sense, right? You know when your alarm goes off in the morning, what's the first thing you do?
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, for fuck's sake.
Maybe snooze it.
I've got to get up. Yeah, you snooze it, right?
Yeah.
So when your alarm goes, you have so many things. You have a thing in a day called a micro stress dose. Your body in a 24-hour period can only handle so much stress. You wake up with an alarm. Let's say, for argument's sake, you have 20 stress doses in a day. So you wake up, your alarm goes off at 6 o'clock. First thing you jolt, you wake up, you're like, oh, fucking alarm, gotta get up. Yeah. I've had a shit night's sleep because I've been on my phone until 12 o'clock at night. I want to go.
You're really hitting some home truths here.
Yeah. I want to go back to sleep. So that's one stress dose gone.
And I've just woke up.
You've just woke up. You've not even woke up. You snoozed it. It goes off 10 minutes later. For fuck's sake, gotta get up. Another stress dose.
Yeah.
Right. So you've lost 2 stress doses. It's not even 6:10. You then, and most people do this, you then go on your phone You look at your emails, someone sent you a shitty email, you're really pissed off about it, another stress dose. You then go on Instagram for 10 minutes, you look at someone else's life that's not fucking real. Why is my life not like that? With a stress dose. You then fucking look at the clock, shit, I've got to get ready, I'm going to be late. You're then stressing because you're going to be late. By the time you've already woke up, you'll have 5 stress doses.
And I've got a lot more hours to do than 5.
Yeah, exactly. So going back to my morning routine, I wake up, unless I've got to be up ridiculously early for whatever reason, I wake up without an alarm. And when I say I wake up at 6, I might wake up at 7 some days. It's just literally, when my body naturally wakes up, that's what time I get up. It's just obviously I program my body to get up at that time.
I need a few tips on that because I couldn't go to bed not knowing that I'm not going to wake up.
Were it scary when you were getting into that?
No, because I naturally started waking up at that time anyway.
Yeah, fair
enough. Naturally I wake up. I suppose I'm saying this, you've got to really program your body to and they say a good way of developing your sleep is going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time. Routine. Having sporadic sleeping patterns is not good for sleep. So I go to bed at roughly the same time and wake up roughly at the same time every morning. So I wake up without my alarm, go downstairs. So I've just moved house, and where I've moved to there's like a really nice walking path. So I start going for a walk, having that connection with the natural, with nature. But my go-to thing is I do not go on my phone.
Really? Just a silent mode, no podcast, no nothing?
Oh, no, sorry. I mean, I don't go on my phone. Clear. I don't check my emails. I don't go on social media for at least the first hour of the day.
Try not to be pissed off.
Go downstairs. I've been doing a lot of breathing work, trying different breathing. Started doing another breathing technique, which is you breathe in for 3 seconds.
Square breathing.
Hold for 4, exhale for 5. Just try that.
Is that to de-stress, kind of?
Yeah, it's supposed to de-stress. I tried meditate, but
I would love to try that.
My mind just fucking goes a million miles an hour. I
think I'd be sat there meditating, thinking, I really should be getting off work now.
Yeah, I've done it a few times. I found it quite like relaxing. But yes, some sort of breathing work I'll try. And again, some people think it's a lot of shit. I do affirmations.
What's that
mean?
Manifesting affirmations.
So we get notepad out and write.
There's a book, Secret.
Yeah. So I'll tell myself, I'll start from the beginning. So I'll wake up about 6-7 o'clock. I go downstairs. I might make a coffee. I'll then do my breathing work. I'll practice gratitude. I'll do my affirmations. I'll read, and I'll get ready for work. So by practicing gratitude, I mean, I'll tell myself what I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
So, literally, the littlest, simplest things. I'm grateful for a roof over my head. I'm grateful for the food that I eat. I'm grateful for my health. Grateful for my family.
Good night's sleep.
5 things you got to say you're grateful for.
Yeah. But by doing that, you then really think, fuck me, I've got a roof over my head. I'm going to actually eat today.
Yeah.
By doing those 2 things, you're probably 1% better than the rest of the world.
That's true.
You think
Alice is really into that secret.
Honestly,
and stuff like that.
I'm doing that religiously for the last 2 years, and I'm probably happier than I've.
Do you find that the things that you're maybe writing down in your book and you want to manifest are actually happening as well?
100%. So business wise, and I'll not talk exact figures and numbers.
Taxman's watching.
But I said to myself. I think when I was 23, I said by the time I'm 25, I'll have this much money in the bank, I'll earn this much money, I'll do X, Y, Z, and they've all happened.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's important, maybe even just down to the basics of it, but because I think it's something to do with the universe and stuff as well.
Yeah, you draw in positive energy from the universe.
But even having them written down, you've always got that goal to work towards. So seeing it every day, it's important.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you see it every day and you break it down and. I do a mindset workshop alongside the other talk, and I talk about how important goal setting is for your motivation and your mindset. So, for example, let's say you guys, you want to get your podcast to number 1 in England.
Give me a bollock for 100 subs.
Yeah.
But let's say, so you want to get your number 1. That's your, let's say, your 10-year goal. You've got to break it down, right? How the fuck are you going to get to number 1?
And once you start achieving those steps, it starts to become realistic.
You break it down into let's say a yearly goal. What do you want to achieve by the end of the year? You say you want to get 200 subscribers on YouTube. You then think, how am I going to get 200 subscribers on YouTube? You break it down to a daily goal. What do I have to do? Right, I have to message this many guests to come on the podcast for this many days. I have to spend half an hour every day writing these questions.
Outsource the editing, have more time.
Yeah, and then you do these daily goals, and by completing it, you get to the end of the day, you not only have a feeling of self-accomplishment, but you also then more motivated the day after to keep doing it.
You move forward.
It sounds like you're to some it will begin your life purpose outside of 9 mile 5, and it's like I've just listened to all that and I didn't really speak much, but you like sort of waking up, slapping yourself around face with a wet fish, you'd be like, I've got life good, let's go out and let's smash it.
Fucking
And not
do
starting
it,
off
yeah.
with fuck's sake, can't
Yeah.
knackered, which I do, we all do. Do you know what I mean?
And I'm not gonna lie to you, mate. There's some days I wake up and I fall out of sync and I fall out of routine. Like, it's not realistic to say that every single day is
This is
like that,
true,
but-
because like I made a bit of a lifestyle change. I were doing elf bars non-stop, me, and
What, sorry?
do you know elf bars? Those little vape sticks.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
I were doing them
Yeah,
non-stop.
that shit's not good for you.
Honestly, I was in a bad way though. Weren't I wouldn't say I was depressed, but honestly, there is like research behind it. I'll bore you with that later, but they actually do link to depression and make you feel down and like putting anxiety really high. And I was feeling so shit, and it got to a point like I had a chat with you, didn't I? I was like probably not in good nick. I kicked him out, and for like 3 weeks. We called it like XP points. I was adding XP points to my life.
What do you mean by XP point?
Like, if you picture yourself as like a video game character, XP points going up on your bar and you're making yourself a better person.
Oh, shit, yeah, of course.
I would do like little moves every day, making myself better, like exercising and like doing stuff towards business and making it. But it got to a point where I said to Dan, like, I've not really had a good day today with this XP points thing, and like then I kind of realised it's not realistic to be 100% all time growing.
No,
Sometimes you can have a little bit of a shitter.
So you need to see it like this, right? As a graph, personal development, life is not like that.
Yeah.
You're gonna go boom, 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 boom. Like,
Yeah. It's a wiggly line, isn't it?
Life isn't easy. Life's fucking hard, and there's no. If your life was like that, you wouldn't grow.
Yeah.
You wouldn't grow. You've got to go. The shit days make you appreciate the good days, and the failures make you grow as a person and make you get better. Like, no one's life is like that. So.
It's dead easy we say it all the time, it's dead easy to fall off horse, but it's fucking right hard to get back on. And that's the same way gym, doing these mindset things. I'd imagine when you said, oh, do all this manifesting, probably take like a few weeks, months, for you to think, I'm seeing difference. But then the second you have a bad day, 2 weeks in, you're like, fucking what a waste of time.
Yeah.
Straight back on, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like when I first started doing the manifesting and the affirmations, I just like when I first started doing it, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like this, I'm telling myself all these things. And then I've just said, stick with it, keep doing it. And now I've done it, and now I know it fucking works because I've seen the results of what I've achieved.
Have you included these as part of like your Tom's talks stuff, like all these newfound techniques, like you need to start doing all this?
So there's the talk when I talk about my life experiences and different ways of improving your mental health and the stigma around mental health, social media.
Yeah.
And then there's the mindset workshop, which is I like when
that sounds really interesting. I'd like to go to a mindset workshop.
Yeah. So when I present this to a business or to a school, I say that the best way that I feel like it benefits everyone is if I do it to a whole business or a year group at school. I'll do the talk, and then I'll do the workshop to a small selected group, and it's far more engaging. Like I'm saying to you, right, what's your goal for 5 years time? I asked the person in the audience,
can make it personal.
Make it personal, make it engaging, and
maybe actually make a difference in someone's life.
Yeah, that's the idea.
That's the plan, isn't it?
That's the plan, yeah.
That's unbelievable. I couldn't remember what you asked there, but I basically want to go to one of these mind talks.
To be fair, mate, my next thing is I want to do a public Tom's talk.
That'd be sick.
And a public mindset workshop. But do you know the problem is with that? I've done it before. Over the last few years doing all this mental health work that I'm doing in this journey, like the amount of lads that I've had message me saying, love what you're doing, let me know when your next talk is, I'll come along. And I've had the opportunity for them to come along and they don't come.
Maybe do you think it's like an ego?
It's a pride thing.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to sit in a room, listen to a talk, and then let their vulnerability come out.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's a problem.
More women come to my talks than men.
That's the problem with men again, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's
I don't
pride.
know.
It's an ego
Like,
thing.
there's no way like easy solving, right? Men just fucking. You didn't have to be this big hard lad all the time.
Yeah.
Is there plans for like I can see like a mental health tutor, like a bit of a mentorship, like for these people that don't ego is a bit too much more, whatever, that
Yeah.
really want
Personal
that
one-to-one
privacy.
situation.
If you go out, look, it's like therapy sessions, isn't it? But like mental health coaching, that might sound daft, but
Yeah,
you thought
like
about
life
that?
coaching.
Yeah.
Life coaching is something that I've always thought about doing and something I would love to do. But you know, as I previously said, it's like I do want to set my own charity up. It's just I don't have time.
Yeah.
Like obviously taking over the family business in November, like it's literally all hours of the
Yeah.
day. There's a lot of things I'd love to do, but you've got to be realistic with your time.
You are
So
only one person, aren't you?
yeah, there's only so much you can do, and there's so much you can subcontract out.
Yeah.
So
what is
Go on, sorry.
what is we talked about goals, and you said, you know, break it down 10-year, 5-year. What is your, and it might be a bit personal or whatever, but generally, what are your goals for, where do you see Tom's talk in 2 years, 5 years, or, you know, your business with your furniture, all that kind of stuff? Have you got all that laid out?
So the furniture business, we turned over last year. We turned over 3 million, and I said I want to turn over. So it's really interesting. I'm fucking buzzing over this because I took over as managing director in November from my dad, who's done a smashing job for the last 8 years, and for the last probably like between 2.5 to 3 million for the last 5 years. And I said, obviously, taking over from my dad this first year, my sister's been on maternity leave for the majority of the year. I said, if we can hit 3 million this year, I'll be happy. From then we grow, and by the end of the year, we'll probably do 3.7.
Fucking min.
So
That's a bit buzzing, man.
yeah, but my plan, my goal and my idea was if we can get to from 3 million to 5 million in the next 5 years, that's the plan. So that's OSI. Tom's talks, my main focus now. Like my talks, I'll be really transparent, are quite sporadic. You know, they're not all the time. They're here, there, and everywhere, to be honest. And I'm happy with that. You know, it's the YouTube that I'm really wanting to grow.
Right.
So the YouTube channel, I'd like to say by the end of the year, if I could get to, I think I'm at 200 at the minute, somewhere around there. If I could get to like 500 by the end of the year, I'd be happy with that. And then, you know, grow within a couple of years to 10,000. That'd be
Yeah.
So what kind of stuff you wanted to get on there? Because I've been on and I saw like your GQ thing, and we thought that would go. It's like what? Because obviously you've got your Tom's talking. There's that sort of a place for that, isn't there? But I'm assuming you don't want to just only do that. You wanted to branch out into other stuff.
Yeah. So the next step for the Tom's Talks, I've filmed 2 episodes of it now. The next step for the YouTube Tom's Talks is it's going to call the Athlete Series. So I sit down with 5 athletes from 5 different sports.
Talk already.
Yeah, talk to the individual. Say, so what's the sport done for you? What's the sport done for your mental health? The highs and the lows. How do you keep yourself in the right mindset? How do you stay motivated? Asking those sort of questions. Again, it's like this sort of format.
Yeah.
Open-ended questions to lead the conversation, see where it goes. And then they just fucking blitz me in whatever session they want.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Absolute pro badminton player, knocking the fuck out of your racket now.
Yeah, literally. So I've done it. So Dan, the videographer that I work with, he's from an athletics background, and he had a friend who was a pole vaulter that is going to an Olympics in one of the next Olympics.
Yeah.
So I went to Newcastle, filmed a video with him.
Did you have to do?
Oh yeah, it was hilarious. Honestly, I fell down and I had like a red line on my back because I smacked my back on the pole vault. So that was a laugh. But he had a really interesting story.
Yeah.
Really cool
I
guy.
get into pole vaulting. I'm sure I'm going to find out in Athlete Series, but fuck me, it's
I
such a
do
niche like.
Yeah.
It's a really good idea, that Athlete Series. That is,
Yeah.
because you get to interview them and then they get to fucking show you what they're doing.
The last one I did was Callum Simpson.
Yeah.
So the last one I did was, so he's a good mate of mine. Did it with him. He's on another level. I can't describe to it. He's a fucking animal.
Hard as fuck.
Jesus, obviously hard as fuck, but in terms of his cardiovascular endurance, he's on another level. I consider myself like a relatively fit guy, but it was humbling how fit he was.
Does he do that professionally?
Yeah, he's 9-0, so his next fight's next weekend. He's fighting for his first belt.
Oh, sick.
I believe he'll be world champion one day.
I think.
He's
Really?
Unbelievable. He's sick.
That's min.
Yeah.
I'll get him on.
It would. He'd probably come on.
What's his like mental drive like? Because obviously you're into the mental side of it.
Yeah, so obviously he wants to be number 1, doesn't he?
So he's got the absolute fucking tunnel vision.
It's tunnel vision.
Fucking,
I'm
I'm
number
gonna
1,
smash this.
and his dedication to the sport is second to none.
And did he spar you?
You'll see it in the video. You'll see it in the YouTube video.
We'll link it down below if it's on.
Yeah.
For nobody's clicked through this link.
We'll try. No.
But yeah, I mean, I don't want to take too much of your time, Tom. I don't know.
Straight to the gym after this, that's what I've heard.
Oh, I think
Grand
I've
never
had a missed call from Mrs. and
Have you really? So,
not saying we have to cut it short.
No. Well, to be fair, I think, you've given us fucking an amazing little interview.
No, I appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
You've done therapy for me. You saw me. I'm doing completely.
Just honestly, try what I've told you.
I will. I honestly.
And don't give up after the first day. After the first day, don't give up.
I'm sorry, no, I'm already thinking I'll try, but just not tonight. I'll do it tomorrow. He's a bastard, isn't he?
Try it for a week.
I will. I honestly will.
Because it's, again, you're not going to achieve fucking miracles overnight. It's not going to happen. You need to be consistent over a prolonged period of time to see results. Otherwise, it won't work.
Just before we go, do you want to tell people about Tommy's? Because that we're on there for us to talk about.
Fuck Tommy's. No, Tommy's was an idea where I wanted to start. I've always been into fashion. I like my clothes. I wanted to start a clothing brand that represented people with mental health by giving 10% back to charity. That was an affordable, fashionable brand.
Yeah.
It's not happened.
No.
Mr. Hilfiger took you down, or what?
Who?
Mr. Hilfiger himself.
Yeah, he took me to court.
No, it's a good idea though. I do like it.
It was a good idea, and maybe if I had more time, this goes
Yeah.
back to this whole time thing. I've just not had a minute to give to that project.
Do you think it was a wrong thing to begin your energy to at that time,
Yeah,
kind of thing?
wrong.
Just I'll have some gold.
I'm not from the fashion industry or the clothing industry. That shouldn't stop anyone from like following their dreams. Don't get me wrong, but I just wasn't from that background. I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing. I just did it on a whim and winged it.
It was good though. Nice hat.
Yeah.
You got a spare?
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Of course I have. Yeah. I mean, it's good stuff. Do you know what I mean?
It looks mint, genuine.
It's top quality stuff. Like I spent quite a lot of money on the clothes themselves.
Right, morning fellas. Sorry, camera's died. That's how I sat like three twats on a bench. But we're just gonna roll with it because we can't leave Tom without saying goodbye. But before we do say goodbye, I have got one question. So it got a bit more serious when it was about his morning routine. I'm desperate to know: do you do cold showers and do they fucking work or not?
1,000,000%. Definitely.
Not that after I've already got notepads up way before on the other side of the room. You know what I mean?
Get it done. The reason why I forgot to say it with my morning routine is because I moved house last week and my shower doesn't go cold. But prior to that...
Were you doing it before or was it just, do cold showers?
No.
Strong.
I swear to God. No. Get a cold shower. There's two reasons why. You don't want to get a cold shower. You do the hardest thing first. Do the hardest thing in the day. Not that it might be in that day, but you know what I mean. Yeah. You get a feeling of self-accomplishment, getting a cold shower, you feel really good. But also the cold water, the science behind it, again, I'm not 100% sure on the science, but it it makes your body produce more dopamine, which again is one of your feel-good hormones. It makes you feel good.
How the fuck do you do it?
I don't know if I've got bollocks, mate.
I won't have bollocks after I get a cold shower. I have tried it. It does make you feel good, to be fair. But it's just keeping it up again, isn't it? It's just that longevity.
How long have you been on cold showers? Cold therapy?
A few months.
A few months?
Yeah.
Mate, you've got your life so much in check, aren't you? You have to send some tips in private, but I'm going to re-watch it and go, actually, yeah.
In floods of tears.
Yeah, it's not happened overnight though. It's like a progress thing. Like I started by not going on my phone, then I added the reading, then I added the breathing work, then I added the cold showers. And I see it aligned with the progress that I'm making in business, in my life, in career, all that stuff as well.
You're just on your A game, really, aren't you?
I try to be, yeah.
It's looking that way. Well,
what a fantastic way to end it.
Yeah, massive thanks for coming on. We've appreciated it. Sorry it's had to end like this, but
we will put all like Tom Stork's links and shit in.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks,
because obviously they are fucking worth it, aren't they?
Yeah. And if you do that public one, we'll come. So.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, lads. That's the next thing for Tom's Talks is a open public talk where people can come along. So.
And I'm really sorry how this has ended with this camera. But nice to see you.
Cheers, lads. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much.
See you in a bit. Thanks for watching.